Welcome to Holy Week Devotionals. My name is Jeff Weber, and I'm the pastor at Reader's Church. And during Holy Week, each day, I will be giving you a short devotional that reflects on a passage of Scripture concerning what occurred in Jesus' last week. Today, we have just celebrated Palm Sunday, and Jesus triumphantly riding into Jerusalem, and the crowds cheering him, shouts of Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And then afterwards, right after he rode in, he went to the temple and he chased out the money changer, overturning tables and declaring that his house was a house of prayer. Well, I'd like to today reflect on this passage of Scripture coming from Matthew chapter 21, beginning at verse 23, the actions that took place after he cleansed the temple. So it begins, when he, Jesus, entered the temple, the chief priest and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" Jesus said to them, "I will also ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin?" And they argued with one another. "If we say from heaven, he will say to us, 'Why then did you not believe him?' But if we say of human origin, we are afraid of the crowd, for all regard John as a prophet." So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." We hear this question from the chief priests and the Pharisees, and actually, it seems like a very reasonable question, doesn't it? We certainly today look at what authority a person has when reflecting on actions that they do or things that they say. We respect authority. We respect authority when we see it with police officers who are given their authority by the state, and they go through certain training, and then upon graduating from the training, they are bestowed certain authority. We recognize authority from governmental officials who are elected to office. And so even if we haven't voted for them, we recognize that they have certain authority that comes with their position that they are elected to. We recognize people's authority based upon their education and what they have done. We see that a person who is a professor and have undergone years of education and training now speaks with that authority. We recognize authority that comes from education for trade crafts when we hire electricians or plumbers, and authority that comes from years of experience in certain trades. We recognize over and over again authority. Well, Jesus had performed many signs and wonders. He had healed the lame. He had made the blind to see and the lame to walk. He had opened the ears of the deaf. He had also cast out demons. And he had even raised Lazarus from the dead. All these signs and wonders Christ had performed already. And the chief priests and the Pharisees had heard about all of them, and some of them had even been witnesses of these miracles. Furthermore, they had heard Jesus' teaching, his words, which resonated from Scripture in so many different ways. As Jesus himself said, I am the fulfillment of all the law and the prophets. The very Scripture itself that the chief priests and the Pharisees and the teachers of the law had all spoke to Jesus Christ. And so we find in this very reasonable question, a question that maybe even we ask when we reflect on Jesus, but why is he doing these things? Who is he? We recognize here that the chief priests, the Pharisees, in asking what seems like a reasonable questions, they themselves are showing that they don't believe. That they don't believe their very eyes, that they don't believe what they have read, that all of this, for them, though they're the experts in it, carries no weight. And so they seek to rationalize in their own minds that Jesus has no basis and that he is not who all the evidence points to him being. And so they ask the question and then are flummoxed by Jesus' response as to by what authority John the Baptist did his deeds. And in their being flummoxed by that and looking at it as a political question that, oh, if we say this, or if we say that, we are wrong. They reveal their hearts and how far their hearts are from Jesus. They reveal that they don't see Jesus for who all the evidence points to who he is. We ourselves, as we are in now into Holy Week, need to truly ask ourselves that. Are we going through this ritual, through the acts of Palm Sunday, through the things of church, because it's just a tradition? Have we created Jesus to be some sort of figure for us that is molded into our own image, our own way of thinking of it? Or do we truly and honestly recognize that the authority of Jesus is that Jesus is God, our Emmanuel, God with us? He is truly Lord over our lives. There is no other authority, no higher authority in our lives if we truly accept him. Do you accept him? Do you see Jesus as Lord of your lives? And if Jesus truly is who he claimed to be, then what does it mean for your life today? I pray that you truly come to see the true authority of Jesus Christ in your life, so that all that you do and all that you say may reflect him.